What the fuck did you want? What's up, everybody? This is Andrew from Superhero Stuff You Should Know, and with me is Benuigi.
Yes, woohoo! I'm here. We are both showing our faces this time on this one.
Yeah, this one we want to show our faces because, dude, I have shit to say about this fucking movie. Oh, this is not a review for kids, and it might be mildly spoilery, so if you don't want any spoilers at all, then turn the channel now, but I'll click away, of course. But yeah, we won't. It'll again mildly spoilery, not insanely spoilery. So at your caution. But I've been a huge Mario fan my whole life. Ben is a little bit less of a gamer than me, but he still knows the property to some degree. And we've both seen it. We both liked it. I really loved it, and it's like. The main thing I wanted to talk about here is the critics' response. We'll have other points too, but this score I found ridiculous. I almost blew a gasket because, like, after I saw it, I went in kind of with like low-ish expectation after seeing the score. And I see the movie and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking at the camera. What the fuck did you want? This is like exactly what a Mario movie should be. For the most part, I feel like. I've been playing this game since like 88, 89, whenever the fuck it came out. I don't know. I kind of don't get it. And there's a few points that I came across that seems like it would kind of stuck in some critics' sides. And again, there's probably other points not going to be fully comprehensive here. But basically, some critics said that there were too many Easter eggs. And like, my point is, like, are there too many Easter eggs, or are you just in Mario's world? You're like, I didn't feel like it was overly, like, so many Easter eggs, like, it was just too much. It was like, sure, they're in the background here and there, and there's callbacks to like old, like, games that are like kind of tangential to Mario, which is cool, but like, it just, I felt like that wasn't an issue. That's not a problem at all. And then the next one is they thought seems like some people thought there was too much fan service. And again, is there fan service, or is Mario just doing what Mario does? You know, like, it's just you're in Mario's world and Mario's doing what Mario does in the games, which we've never fucking seen in a movie before. Like the 93 one people are bringing up now is completely
doesn't exist.
It's a garbage fire of a movie, and most people think that it's apparently a cult following for the movie, but it's just like everybody knows, it's nothing like the game, really, almost nothing like the game. So it was like, as a Mario fan, and as a lot of people know, this was almost like vindication. Like, we're like almost that movie is like 30 years old, 93, but the series itself is like, what, almost 40 years old, and we finally kind of get vindication of like a movie that like looks like the game, not just because it's CG, but they probably could have done 2D back in the day in 93. It would have been a lot better, but
this just makes it look more like the game.
See Mario do what Mario does. Yeah, exactly. And this movie is like, could be what future games look like too, honestly.
Right.
And there were some other criticisms I've seen was that they said that the plot was too thin. You got a fucking, I'm looking at the camera again. You got a fucking 90-minute kids movie. Fucking younger than probably The Incredibles even skews, you know? 90 minutes. How do you want the fucking Citizen Kane for in 3D animated form? It's not going to happen. And on top of that, there was a plot. He's going to save his brother. It's the importance of family. Mario's going out of his way, left and right, saving people. Even when it's inconvenient to him, very inconvenient. And on top of that, there's like this, little bit of a moral thread of like, you don't give up, do you, guy? Like, sure, we know that as adults, like, not giving up is good. But this movie is for kids, very little kids, which, again, another point, some fucking reviewers seem to have fucking forgotten that. Like, this movie, I'm a Mario fan. like I told Ben before, like
Mhm,
I told him off air. There's Disney adults. That's fine. That's their thing. I like Disney too, but I guess you could say I'm a Nintendo adult. I've just a fan of that world and Mario's world and all that. It's probably because I'm brainwashed. I've been playing it since I was like 5. But like I don't know. I just felt like some of the critics just didn't know they didn't know the game or something. They didn't.
mhm,
I don't know. Like it had enough plot. Like you had like a couple messages about family and him going to save people, which is what he does in the games. Usually in the games, he's saving Princess Peach, but this time they wanted to give Peach more agency and to make her more badass. So he saves his brother, which is great. Everybody knows Mario and Luigi. Perfect little change there
it has
for
more
the movie.
emotional stakes that way too, like, why would he give a shit about some random princess he doesn't know? Like, no, he's gonna save his brother. Like, that's a change where I'm
Yeah,
like, "This makes sense."
he has no fucking yeah. He doesn't know who she is. He would save her, of course, if he knew what was going on and saw her and knew what to do. But
Mhm,
you know what I mean. So like saying the plot's too thin, it's such a like what do you want? Did you want something like as and yeah, the Pixar some of the Pixar movies are deeper,
mhm,
sure, but does every fucking kids movie need to be that? I just don't think so. And I think it's like you judged it way too harshly. At least some of you did. You know, it's just insane to me this score. Like I haven't been this pissed off at a score, Ben, since Man of
mhm,
Steel. Man of Steel
mm,
also got like a 55, 56 or something, like
right.
close to a fresh. Has like a 45 on Metacritic too. It you know, so uh yeah, I don't know what they wanted. There was something you know, like the plot with his father. This is getting a
Mhm,
little bit more into a review side. The only thing I thought was a little bit much was like this. I don't know if we really needed so much about him getting his father's approval. It could have been just him and Luigi and the power of brotherhood or, you know, family. You know,
yeah,
I don't
that
know.
part kind
I
of
don't know.
felt
It was a little
tacked
bit
on.
much. A little bit
Yeah.
tacked on. Like what's weird is like in the games, there's never really like the real world. They're
Mhm,
just already in the Mushroom Kingdom or whatever the fuck. But almost every adaptation that's not a game, whether it's animated movie or TV show or the real movie 93 or whatever, live action, I can't remember exactly, but they always kind of start in New York and then go to the Mushroom Kingdom, which I guess is fine. But as somebody that plays and a lot of fans too, probably like, that's this real world shit's not really in the game at all, I
mhm.
think generally, but doesn't ruin it. They could have started in the real world and just been Mario and Luigi and not much of the father. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. That's kind of my only beef with it. The rest of it I really loved. Pacing was great. It was really funny. Jack Black is amazing. I think everybody
Mhm.
seems to kind of agree on that. And I don't know. Before we get to the next point, Ben, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, this really shows the difference between critics and the public when you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like 56%, 96% on audience score, though. And then you take a look at the
Yeah,
box office, and you're just like, all right, well, can we really ever point or blame critics' bad reviews on bad box office when clearly the brand here is strong enough that nobody gives a fuck? Like,
dude.
like nobody gives a
One of
fuck
the
what the
articles
critics say. You're gonna go and see it.
one of the headlines was Mario movie comes out, makes a shitload of money immediately. We're gonna get
Which
that's the
I'm
next
just
point
like,
actually. Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, you didn't see this coming. This is a property that was never made into a theatrical animated movie until now. Has like it doesn't have that. It has a bad track record with live action, but enough time has passed that like it didn't tarnish the brand. If anything, it's stronger than ever with all the different games that came out
definitely,
afterwards. I'm
definitely,
like,
definitely.
how like is this really that much of a surprise? Like, oh, it's breaking box office records. And I'm just like, well, no shit, it's breaking box office records. It's a new thing that's based off of something familiar. It's not a Marvel movie. It's not. I mean, we'll go into the fact that it's technically still a superhero movie,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
it's a new thing on something familiar. That's always a hit, especially something that is an internationally recognized brand. Mario is not just popular in America, obviously. It's all over the
Oh no,
world. So I'm like,
all over the
this is
world.
not news
Yeah,
to me. Yeah, this is not news to me. This is breaking box office records. I was there. I did the closest I grew up to Mario as a game was Mario Teaches Typing. That's the type of thing I get with
I
that.
had that too. I had that too, man. Mario taught me typing.
He taught me typing too, and now I'm a
Oh
writer. So I
man.
guess I do owe that to Mario. But like I was fucking there. And you know what? At the end of the movie, kid next to me, you know, is dressed up and does the woohoo and he fist pumps. And I've never seen anybody actually fist pump in a goddamn theater. But I was like, you know what? That kid's happy. A ton of these kids are going to be happy. And you know what happens with kids' movies is not just the kids that show up, but their parents, their grandparents. Especially if you happen to have a birthday around this time as a kid, you don't just go with your family. You
Sometimes
bring
people in
everyone
their
else.
late 30s. Sometimes people in their
That
late
too.
30s show up, Ben, with no kids, like me.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, do you know how many times I've seen like, look, we've gone to a lot of these superhero movies and stuff, right? But I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many Mario and Luigi's I saw dressed up. Way more than I've ever seen anybody dressed up to go see, Thor or Batman even. Like that's there was
Right.
just it just shows that, they tapped into this, they stayed true to the video game, they stayed true to the brand and stuff where I'm like, you know what? The fans are happy. That's all that really matters. And this one, like they're laughing their way to the bank. You're like, who gives a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes at this point? With this specific score, it shows that like critic stuff, like you can't blame bad reviews for bad box office in the future. Especially because like most of the time when you pay for a ticket in box office, it's not necessarily for the movie's quality because you haven't seen the movie yet. Right?
Right,
So like
right.
there's not really that connection. I think it's people to have this whole connection to it. I'm just like, well, clearly this is not just an outlier, but it's proof. It's proof that like nobody really gives a fuck if you have something that's like internationally recognized, a brand that everybody knows, something that's a fun time of the movies. That's a four quadrant thing for everybody entertainment wise. Like, sure, it might have a thin plot, like the people say, but if the fans are happy, you're still going to have a hit on your hands. They're for sure making sequels to this. We're going to see a cinematic universe of Mario from Illumination. Like Universal knows that like this is their ticket.
I mean, I don't know what the thin plot thing again. Look, it's not like as deep as again like a Pixar film or something or like
Right.
but it's Mario going on an adventure the whole time trying to save his brother. You do get character moments. You do get them as children as well. There's a little bit of there's like well, of course, it's a huge world built there, but like there's an
Hmm.
emotional world or whatever between him and like a little bit of comedy rom-com shit between him and Peach as well. So it's
Hmm.
like isn't it a fucking enough? That's where I'm coming from. It should be
Hmm.
a fucking enough for again a 90-minute kids movie.
Right.
It's just it. I usually it blows my mind because look, a lot of people out there don't ever give a fuck about critic scores anyway. Which
Yeah.
good. I'm actually
Hmm.
like after this movie, I'm with you on that.
Hmm.
A lot of times before in the past, I kind of generally agree with the critics a lot of the time.
Hmm.
Uh, I've been with the critics, especially with some of the other blockbusters that we won't go in with now. But with this one, it's just like, dude, you guys are just fucking wrong about this one. But getting to our
Hmm.
next point, if that's okay, Ben,
Go ahead.
the people have fucking spoken. We got the we got the fucking 5-day record for an animated film, top of all fucking time, not adjusted for inflation, but these box office headlines are never adjusted for inflation, so I guess it's fine. But
Mm.
like it's it's still it's huge. Like it made an absolute fucking shitload of money. It came out, Easter weekend
Hmm.
and like it's just people don't care about Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, which is kind of great actually. And it's just it's been a long time coming. Like we've Nintendo's been around almost our whole lives, and we've gotten one shitty ass movie. Like that's it. We've gotten a couple shows like those shows in the early '90s, but like they weren't super great. There was a Zelda cartoon too, and if Captain N counts, that's another thing. But like it was just like it was really time, and to see Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy that created Mario, as a fucking producer,
Hmm.
I think executive producer, what a great thing that was. It seems like he had his say. Love that it's doing well. It feels very like I feel really vindicated about that. And we wanted to put this at the end. Normally, I would kind of put this in the beginning, but uh, like I don't know. I just felt like we need to get to the point immediately for YouTube. But if
Hmm.
anybody's wondering, And if you're tuning in just for the Mario stuff, we're Superhero Stuff You Should Know podcast. We usually do mainly superhero stuff, but we're
Mhm,
still on brand because Mario wears a cape in the Super Nintendo version, especially. He
mhm,
flies and he saves people. So, and it has super in the name. He's got a Bizarro version, like Ben brought up earlier to me off air, named
mhm,
Mario. So it's a fucking
mhm.
superhero. So Mario's a fucking superhero. There it is. Anything else, Ben?
Let's see. He wears blue and red, like we talked
Yeah.
about as well. So some
Hmm.
Superman parallels too. We got memorable, hummable theme songs, which is like a staple for classic
Yeah.
superhero stuff. There's the female lead you always got to rescue that who has evolved over time to be more, have more agency. You
Yeah.
have the fact that he comes from one world into a different world where he gets superpowers. Um, and then
Yeah,
you've
that's
also
true.
got
Yeah.
you got another villain who's a big dude with spikes on him in both
Oh,
versions
like
of Doomsday and
Doomsday?
Bowser. Yeah.
I never thought
I
about
ju
Bowser being as
I just I
Doomsday.
just
That's
I just looked
that's
at
funny.
the picture, I'm just like, the spikes are there." I mean, it's a stretch. At that point, I'm just kinda stretching the whole thing to make it work, but, I mean, there are aspects of it, but there is definitely the aspect of him being a hero and never giving up. It's just kinda like what I told you off air, like, nobody accuses Mario of being too perfect, or being, too boring because he's not a 6-foot dude with a chiseled jaw. He's, he's a very short, Italian plumber dude. That's
Yeah.
it's already like, oh, okay, like you don't feel the weird like disconnect that you might with somebody who is just like a chiseled superhero type of thing. So yeah, I mean, super's in the name, like you said. It's a superhero
Yeah.
movie. It's just not formally called a superhero movie. It doesn't have a comic book basis and stuff, but it's got a video game basis. It's a recognizable brand. It's the start of something new. It's the big hit so far of 2023, and it's like, well, take note in terms of like how this type of stuff works because like clearly as I said before, nobody gives a fuck about the critic score. They're here because they recognize Mario as a brand. They're familiar with it. It's the pangs of nostalgia that bring us to the theater for a lot of these characters, and that's what they're tapping into here. That's why it's been a big hit.
It's been fucking great, man. And I'm glad everybody has basically seen it, which is awesome. I might actually see it again. But and I mean, we got video game stuff on the rise now. We have Last of Us doing great in HBO.
Mhm.
And then we've got Mario breaking records left and fucking right. And then, people are talking about Red Dead Redemption going to be made. And
Mhm.
what you call it? Well, there was another one. But anyway,
Ghosts isn't
Ghost of
Ghosts.
Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is
Yeah.
another one,
No.
which that would be interesting because if they do that like the game, that would be a fully American funded movie, completely in Japanese,
Yeah.
which would be cool. That I mean, fuck it, it's a huge game. Why
Mhm.
the fuck not? So, and it should be like that anyway. If you have a, anyways, we're getting off topic. Um, but yeah, love it. Yeah, so we have superhero stuff in the theater and video game stuff in the theater. And, it's heaven for me.
It's
So
heaven. It's nerd heaven for us. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Um,
So that's it. Now we're going behind the paywall, Ben, or what?
yeah, but real quick, I wanted to thank everybody who has supported Shortcut to Happily Ever After. This is my short story. It is the most popular, highest viewed story on the Metaphoricist YouTube
Woo!
channel, and that's thanks to you guys for checking that out. So thank you very much. Check it out as well if you haven't already. I'll include the link, but just wanted to thank everybody out there for making that happen. And I think we're good to go behind the paywall now.
All right, everybody. So check out patreon.com/superhero stuff pod, and it's linked in the description as well. And join the $5 tier to hear the rest of this episode. And we're going behind the paywall now.